So everywhere Sue and I go, we meet teams of employees, teams of leaders, individual leaders like yourself who take our solutions and just roll with it. And better yet, run with it, like my friends at Rainy Lake Medical Center have done forever. And I have with me today on the left in the beautiful magenta color, Kim Ussery, who is the director of the laboratory and co-leader of the Icebreaker Patient Experience team.
Hello.
And also Nancy Peterson, who is the director of patient access, the front door, shut the front door,
That's right.
and also co-leader of the Icebreakers Patient Experience team.
Yeah.
And I asked them to join me because we're talking about positive communication standards for both employees to elevate the employee experience and provide a safe and satisfying patient experience. And I really think that Rainy Lake Medical Center has just got it done when it comes to service recovery. So I want to talk a little bit about why we do this, right? Why do we focus on service recovery? I had a CFO say to me one time, and it was only like our second partner hospital, and she said, "Can you explain to me why you're teaching us to recover service when you haven't actually really taught us how to provide great service yet?" Like, she kept looking for the SMILE program, right? And so we had to explain to this fabulous leader, "Hey, listen, here's the deal. 1 in 26 people right this moment back in your organization are dissatisfied or have a misperception about their care and the service that's being provided to them. And unless you train your people to be the ones to recognize the body language, to listen carefully, to really pay attention, you ain't getting anywhere, right? It can't be a leader's responsibility." And so she really got that. And another great leader that we ran into over the years her name was Marina Lena Murphy, and she works for the Mayo Clinic Enterprise in Phoenix, Arizona. And when we taught service recovery to her team, she said, "I truly believe that we need to provide service recovery to each other as leaders, from leaders to physicians, from staff members to providers, to employees to employee. Gosh, I'm sorry that our day didn't go like we planned. What could we have done better?" Right? So that's how we teach it now, that all of the positive communication standards are for both employees and for patients. But I want to hear about your service recovery campaign. So if I remember correctly, you got a really, really creative title for it.
Yeah. We're fortunate that we had a service recovery program in place, but we rebranded it with a capstone suggestion called REACT. So it's recognize, apologize, correct, and take action.
All right. Fabulous. React. Yeah, absolutely. That's a word everybody can remember. So how did you do the training? How'd you roll this out?
Well, we've had a program in place for a number of years already. And unfortunately, over the years, it kind of got thrown by the wayside and wasn't really used all the time any longer. When we branded or when we partnered up with Capstone and it was reintroduced to us, what we decided to do was really try to make it fun. We put together a really kind of enjoyable video, which we kind of poked fun at some of the different things, but we made also a video that showed how to use service recovery and day-to-day things that happen around the facility, whether it was long wait times or just an upset patient on a bill. But we made videos. We also put together posters that we could hang on our bulletin boards in our department so that everybody could have that little brief reminder of making sure that you react to things when you see it happening. And then we also brought it forward to the leadership team and had them bring that back and discuss it in their monthly meetings. And we were also willing to go to their monthly meetings and do a presentation and talk about service recovery if they wanted us to do so, if they were uncomfortable doing that. So we tried to reach as many people as we could. And then right now we are in the process of putting together another video that we're actually going to be using for our new orientation. because we've gone through a lot of the standards of communication throughout the last couple of years. And so when new employees are coming into the facility, we want them to see where we have been and what we've been doing. So we have come up with a new video that will go over the standards of communication, including service recovery, so that they can get an idea and a feel for what the facility is already doing. And then we can take it a step further after they've been here for a little while and really get them trained properly in how to use that on a day-to-day basis.
Great. Well, and I think that is the benefit of our relationship with your organization, but also the way we train leaders in the leadership bundle, and also teams for the positive communication standards, is the response to human behavior change is sometimes people forget. Or they don't adopt it when you want them to, or they look around and see, nobody else is doing this, so I'm not going to do it either, even though I know it's the right thing to do, because nobody likes being alone on an island. I mean, I think our work environments can all be compared to junior high sometimes. It's like, ooh, they're not doing it, so I'm not going to do it. Right? So that is very wonderful. So what would you say, your service recovery program, what would you say the REACT program has had like the biggest benefit? Like what implications and benefits for your organization?
I would say empowering employees to recognize that this is a skill that they can utilize themselves without having to get leadership involved, that
Nice.
they can have the power to help improve a patient experience, even if it isn't even their patient or a patient that they're dealing with. If it's something that they witness in the hallway or a waiting room, that they can go ahead and step forward and do this. And it definitely helps when it comes down to the whirlwind of our lives in leadership, when you empower your employees to be able to take that step and not even rely on coming back and making sure that I'm involved in any way.
Right.
Nice. Yeah, and empowering can be sketchy for some leaders, can it? It's like they made a wrong decision without me. I'll teach them, right? And that is something that we train leaders to make sure you watch for. Like, when you delegate or empower people, you want to make sure that you weren't there, so you don't know what the situation was, and you want to coach positively if your employees reacted in a way that maybe you wouldn't have done. So do you have any way to measure this impact?
Well, right now we're kind of going through some changes with our patient satisfaction and stuff. But what we do is we do monitor it on a regular basis. Anytime that a service recovery is put into, we actually have where they can load the service recovery into our intranet, and it gets sent to either myself and Kim. And then we do take a look at it. We forward it to the department where it occurred, or maybe if it has something to do with a specific area, we do forward that on to the department leader so that they can look at it, maybe talk to the employee that happened with, if it had to do anything with an employee. We also want to look at trends to see if there's something that's trending, maybe long wait times consistently for radiology or lab or the emergency room, wherever it should be. And then we also do, excuse me, we also do work closely with our board of directors and our executive team on these as well, so that we can make improvements and monitor where these are occurring so that we can make corrections.
I remember the first time I met you, that you were discussing, some service recovery opportunities with your board chair. And I thought, oh, well, that's cool that, and he's, of course, fabulous. I've met him as well. So, another thing is I often say to quality leaders or risk managers who consider themselves kind of the complaint department, it's like, we want to put you people out of business. And I'm saying that jokingly, but what we really want them to do is to focus on positive things to make great change in your organizations, and not continually be chasing complaints, right? And that is a great measurement, is all of a sudden, do things quiet down for not only that leader, but all leaders? That no longer are you afraid to go to the grocery store in your own town because people come up to you and say, you know what happened to me in your hospital the other day, right? Yeah, I mean, that's just horrifying. And Sue and I definitely noticed in our hometown when it just started to happen, and it was great. Again, you can't always quantify that, but there's lots of ways to quantify it. I mean, there's always a question on every patient engagement survey: response to concerns and complaints. How did we respond to you? And your leaders can validate that as well. So did you have any negative reactions when I rolled this out? I was so embarrassed because I led the service recovery program for my hospital, and my own ER nurses were the ones who were like, great. Now, every time someone who comes in who wants, a certain medication and we don't give it to them, they're going to complain, and you're going to run out there with a gas card just because they complained. And I'm like, okay, that's not how this rolls. All right. Did you guys face that negativity?
We were fortunate, like we said, to have a service recovery program in place. I'd say the pushback that we got was training people or teaching people that service recovery is more than just giving out gift cards, that it's actually the recognition, listening, acknowledging, and then showing the patient, that we care and trying to improve their experience. And that's the first step. It's not throwing Hardee's cards at people and being like, we're sorry. I think that was probably the pushback that we faced the most versus just downright negativity. But it was just kind of retraining that there's more to it than just handing someone a gift card.
Right. Yeah. An apology is enough.
Yeah.
99% of the time, truly. Yeah. So if an organization, a patient experience leader, just like you guys, was going through this the first time, what advice would you give? What do you want to add to this?
I think that when it comes down to getting people on board with service recovery, it's always good to highlight the fact that a lot of times when you're dealing with people and patients, they may not be having the best day. They might be having one of their worst days. And every little thing that we can do that can improve that experience can make it seem a little less crappy. I mean, that really makes a difference to someone's overall experience. And even just acknowledging and apologizing, listening, pulling out all of your positive communication standards to try and improve the patient experience, even just a little bit can be huge for someone.
Right. Absolutely. And I think honestly, I think don't try to make it too difficult. When you're setting up a program like this, make it simple, because in all actuality, when we train our employees to do service recovery, they only really need just a few tools. One is, are you able to listen to somebody? If you can listen to someone, that's the first step in service recovery. The second step is be compassionate and empathetic with that person. Let them know you understand that the way they're feeling, and that you're very sorry that this has happened to them. You understand. And then third, follow through. Make sure that they understand that, would it be all right with you if I put this in a report and sent this to the department head so that they could look at it, and so we could make corrections and make sure that this doesn't happen to you again or to anybody else, because that's not the way that we want to do business here at Rainy Lake Medical. And then I always say to them, make sure that you thank them when you're finished. Thank the patient for letting you know that this problem has occurred. It's important that they feel like they've been heard. And in order to correct things, you have to listen, you have to be compassionate, and you have to follow through with what you say you're going to do. And that's the real way to make a difference and change any of these problems that can be happening in your facility.
Good for you guys. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate your valuable time, as always. And be careful out there. I know the weather.
Yeah, 13
inches. And you know what? Thank you so much, because you sent your weather to me on this side of Michigan.
Can we have it back? We'd like it back. 13 inches of snow yesterday. I thought to myself, I woke up and thought, should I plug my Christmas lights in, or what's going on here?
It's beginning to look a lot. Yes.
Yeah. True.
All right, guys. Have an amazing, oh, I forgot my call to action for everyone watching. I was so excited to say goodbye to you people. We have a website. It's www.capstoneleadership.net. On our homepage, about 2/3 of the way down, there's this way cool button you can push to contact us, spend some time with us, and we would love to tell you all about what these ladies got, right? The Just Start Solutions.